Welcome back. Good day, good evening, good morning, or good evening, depending on where you are watching this video, but you made the right decision by clicking on it. Pelicans Daily presented by Fan Arch. I'm your host, Dylan Bruton. Make sure to like, to share, and to subscribe, because when you're chilling with Dill, you know the drill. First off, I just want to say rest in peace to Malcolm Jamal Warner, one of my favorite actors of all time, sitcom wise, with The Cosby Show and Malcolm and Eddie. You know, great inspiration and a great man. So rest in peace. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of people that I've been seeing recently, deaths and all those. Make sure as much as possible. I know this is not basketball related, but just life, because I always try to infuse real life. Make sure that you celebrate people as much as possible while they're here, while they can still receive their flowers, and make sure you spend as much time with your family and loved ones, because you don't know when it's going to be over, right? Time is the one thing that currency can never buy back. So make sure that you make the most of it. Make sure that you appreciate what you have when you have it. Anyway, all right. Now on to basketball. So Derek Queen. Speaking of making the most of your time, Derek Queen to me had a great summer league. I was very impressed. I saw the fact that he was able to take his lumps and bruises those first couple games, and then that third game against Portland, he showed exactly why we traded a first round pick for next year for him, why we made such an investment. And unfortunately, though, right, as I reported in the last video, he was going to be out 12 weeks with a torn scapulinate ligament, which this is bad because at one point in life, I did want to be a sports physician, a sports doctor. I even got into a magnet school for the sports medicine program. And Pronunciation though has never been my thing. I was in GATE, I was in AP classes. Like I'm over here kind of slightly flexing, but politely. But pronunciation has always been my thing that I've struggled with as much, even though I have a degree in mass media arts and journalism. So just it's just how it goes sometimes. But anyway, he's got an injured ligament in his left wrist. That's all we need to know. And unfortunately, Shams just came out with a report that said that Derek Queen is likely to miss training camp as well as the start of preseason. He's going to be reevaluated October 10th, which gives him about 12 days before the actual NBA season hits, but he's going to likely miss the start of preseason and maybe all of it. I don't know. I don't know how we're going to necessarily handle it. And given, right, we're no stranger to injuries, right? AD, prime example. Love AD forever, but prime example, right? Obviously Boogie I talked about. You know what I'm saying? Chris Paul, that 2009 year where Darren Collison came in and got himself on the all rookie, what was it, first or second team, in lieu of Chris Paul's absence. So we're no stranger to injuries ourselves, but luckily we're not in a predicament where he is expected to be in the driver's seat in the Ferrari off bat. That's not the type of pressure that's being put on Derek Queen. We want to see him, impact and do well, but you don't have that same burden on you the way that, obviously the way that a Cooper or a Dylan Harper or a VJ or an Ace Bailey, right? You don't have that same type of pressure. Not saying you have no pressure, but it's not the same. There's levels to it. There's layers to it. And for me, I just hope that um, I hope that we give Derek Queen as much time to get back healthy. Chris Lambert, shout out to him. And I'm like, what are y'all must have sent him my videos? Because he even acknowledged, he's like, look, I'm not always the most positive writer, but within this and within the growth that I saw from Derek Queen, like I believe he's going to come back stronger and better. And at least it's not a debilitating injury, like an injury in his actual shooting hand, because he's right-handed, or a knee injury or anything like that. And as someone who had two knee injuries, I tore both my meniscus, one in middle school, the other in high school. And when people ask like why, what happened in your athletic career, I always say injuries, because I never was at full 100%. When I was in like fifth, sixth grade, like, cause I tore the first one in like sixth grade, and I thought it was just tendonitis, and I played through it for years, which was the worst possible thing I could have done. So I'm glad that, hey, Derek Queen is getting his stuff addressed now because you don't want certain injuries to linger, even if you feel like, man, I could play through this. And it's hard not to feel that way, right? As in sports, is that it's that warrior mentality of like, yo, I might have scars, but I play through it. I still push and overcome. But I was grabbing rim as a fifth grader. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. There's no BS or nothing like that. I'm not saying I was yamming it down like Zion, but I could get rim. I had bounce, I had acceleration, speed, all that. I was a great rebounder when I would hoop. And I still am a good rebounder to this day, but like I was a phenomenal rebounder. Like I would be like, boom, and then I push the break, get an assist, or take it down the court myself and get like a finger roll, whatever. So with Derek Queen, I'm hoping that he takes this time to heal, get back as strong as possible. We don't want to rush the process, and continue to build and be around the team. Because at the end of the day, training camp and preseason is huge for getting acclimated, getting your reps, getting your weight up, getting an understanding of the organization, those type of things. But it's integral and impactful that you utilize the time to build that unison and cohesion with your brothers. Because at the end of the day, they're gonna ride for you. They're gonna go to war with you, but you have to, what I'm saying? You have to immerse yourself. And Derek Queen has that type of personality. Like I love how tongue in cheek and how what I'm saying, how just how very charismatic he is. And I think I think the city of New Orleans is gonna embrace him. He's got the perfect type of mentality. And I think that he's gonna do well. He's gonna flourish. So I'm excited. But yes, Derek, get back stronger, healthier, left wrist. You know what I'm saying? Get that stronger because that offhand does add other aspects to your game. But make sure you're staying strong. I just saw a report yesterday that Jason Tatum is out his boot already, which is insane. But it just goes to show the resilience. When you want something that bad, you will do anything possible. So, hey, salute to all the brothers who are recovering from injuries because Lord, do I know. Lord, do I know. It is not an easy road, but it is one that really tests your character, tests your fortitude, and it tests your belief nonetheless. You know what I'm saying? And I'm very blessed that I was able to, even though I didn't come back the same caliber athlete, I was able to come back with a better perspective. It's why I'm able to do stuff like this from a healthier mindset because, yeah, it was heartbreaking that I didn't get to have certain stuff happen for me in sports as it is with anybody as it is with anybody who has worked hard for something that they want and believe. So just imagine on a professional level, right? Some of these guys are the breadwinner of their family now. That's a lot of pressure that they've got. That's a lot of expectation. They don't want to let their peoples down. They don't want to let the people that they came up with, their family, all that, and they're trying to still stay true to themselves. So it's important that we recognize the mental health of athletes, especially when they're going through injuries, because it does not get talked about enough, and it gets in a way, you know, it gets minimized, right? Because we look at these athletes as they're these mythical figures. They're these larger than life human beings, right? They stand out. They stand out. They stick out. But at the end of the day, they are people too. It should not be that difficult of a concept, but so rooting and wishing the best for Derek Queen. I can't wait to see what he does this year. I think he's going to have a great year. And if we make a playoff run, he's going to make an impact. Stay tuned. But we got a great rookie class, man. Him, Jeremiah Fears, Micah Peavy. I'm mad I wasn't back in Vegas to see them up close, but it was still dope. I took a picture right by Jeremiah Fears's face on one of the billboards. I had a great time. I had a great time, and it was a lot of great basketball. That 2025 class is special, and I think we got one of the best hauls of the whole draft. So, hey, the sky is only the limit. We up 0-5, yeah, but that's summer league, man. That's summer league. Shoot, the Hornets just won the summer league championship. Is you gonna tell me the Hornets is finna do something this year? Be real. All love to them. But let's be real. Let's keep it in perspective. You know, let's keep it a buck. Okay. But speaking of keeping it a buck, though, should we look to sign Charles Bassie from the Celtics Summer League team? Now, Charles Bassie is a guy who I have talked about before on this channel. He's a guy that I have covered and as said as someone who would be a great big for us to look at as a backup supporter, whatever like that. The young man is like that. Okay, he averaged 15 a game, 11 boards, 2 blocks on 70% from the field in the summer league, and it was some very talented big men in this summer league. I mean, we saw what Johan Beringer did to us in Game 1, and Charles Bassie, every matchup he had, he was dominating. You know what I'm saying? 6'10", 230. He's came in the league in 2021 as a second round pick. And his last year at Western Kentucky averaged 3 blocks a game to lead the entire nation. But he was more than just a great shot blocker and rebounder. He was a great scorer in college. Yeah. He averaged 18 a game. He's got a good face-up game. His mid-range is nice. He's not really a three-point shooter, but he could expand to that, right? And for us, we were ranked in the 19th. We were ranked 19th in rebounding, and Charles Bassie this past year with the Spurs was ranked in the 98th percentile in offensive rebounding. And the only other people in that convo was Steven Adams and Mitchell Robinson. So, I mean, he's amongst company of very talented rebounders. And also he had a 98th percentile in block percentage. And we were 5th in second chance points this past year. And we led the summer league in rebounding per game. So honestly, I think the stronger the front court is, the more it's going to open things up for our back court. Because we get that beef up front, you know what I'm saying? We get that muscle, get that grit, get that, you going to think twice about coming to this paint. Also, we snatching whatever ball comes off the rim. It opens things up for your offense because now you're going at it from a momentum base, right? You have more. You're more likely to be able to take advantage of a defensive matchup before they get themselves set up, and then also you're able to create multiple opportunities to score to get the best possible shot. So I feel like overall, a guy like Charles Bassie, I do remember. And shout out to Chris Lambert for this one, by the way, as well, too. Chris was doing his thing. I got to give him his credit. This whole episode is a Chris Lambert special. You know what I'm saying? So, Chris, if you're watching this, like I said, would love to get drinks sometime and talk some Pelicans ball. And, there's a lot more eye to eye that we got. But, yeah, with Charles Bassie, his contract is not much. I believe he's making somewhere between 2 to 3 mil. So, that's easily something we could take on. And with the Spurs, it's going to be interesting what they do. Not the Spurs, the Celtics. It's going to be interesting what they do. I don't know if they're going to sign him. That would be a great signing for them, but they might not. So I'm all for it, right? Just further strengthen our big man room to have Bassie. Now, we might have an embarrassment of options, but we could have Bassie, Queen, Looney, Dickinson, Carlo. I mean, we could be stacked at the big man position. Stacked as possible. Don't forget Zion sometimes gets thrown in as a small ball 5. I mean, we got options. And that's always how you want to go about things. You want to have a plethora and an abundance. You don't want to be operating from lack and from, oh man, I don't even know who we're going to, no. It's always better to have more than less. And we figure out from there. So I'm all for it. I already covered him months ago. Or I've only been doing this a couple months. I already covered him sometime in my first month of doing this. So he gets the stamp of approval from me. Y'all let me know what y'all think. But I think he would fit, and given Derek Queen's injury now, it doesn't hurt to add more depth. And it also doesn't hurt to add a different type of big who adds a different type of skill. So, hey. I'm all for it. I'm all with it. Man, now this one hurt though. I can't front. I can't lie. When I got the news this morning and I saw Chris Paul was going back to the Clippers, because I did a video on Chris Paul should come back home, come back to New Orleans, you know what I'm saying, and end on the chapter in the same franchise that drafted you. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit hurt. just a little bit. Word of 50 Cent, just a little bit. But I get it though. I understand. He enjoyed his best playoff success with them. From 2011 to 2017, we traded. That trade was huge when it happened. We traded him for Eric Gordon, who had some great years with us. Chris Kaman. I mean, he didn't last too long. Al Farouk Aminu, underrated defensive wing, low key, a player very similar to Herb. I feel like Herb is like the ultimate evolved version of him. But shout out to Al Farouk, and then Minnesota's first round pick that was unprotected, which ended up being Austin Rivers. And y'all know how I feel about Austin Rivers. I feel like Austin Rivers could have been that guy for us. It was supposed to be him and AD were supposed to be like our Kobe and Shaq. It would have been perfect. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. But shout out to Austin Rivers, one of my favorite hoopers all time. And it was crazy because it was 6 days after the Lakers trade had been vetoed. Now, as a Kobe fan, I'm going to say this because I don't like all this Kobe disrespect that's been going around. Kobe is no less than top 5. I don't want to hear your basketball list or opinion if you don't got Kobe at least in your top 5, respectfully. I got Kobe at number 2 after Mike. I watched the whole 55-minute highlight tape that Vintage Dawkins, one of my favorite YouTube pages that has a lot of old school games and stuff like that. And it was of every matchup between Kobe and Mike from, the first time they played against each other in 97 all the way to 03 in the game where right after Mike was talking crazy and saying, you can wear the shoes but never fill them. And Kobe put up 55. Yeah. So, MJ's the GOAT. Kobe's the greatest that I got to see from start to finish in my life. I was born in 98, towards the end of it, so Kobe was my Jordan. Kobe was the greatest I saw. And I humbly and wholeheartedly believe if that Chris Paul trade had gone through, he would have at least tied Jordan, if not gotten 7 rings. And I believe the NBA didn't want that. I believe the NBA was like, nope. Can't have that happen. Nope. You don't play nice enough with the media. You don't smile enough. Because he had to embrace being a heel. He came into the NBA, polished, and everyone wanted a piece of him. And then, different things happened in his career. And then he embraced being a heel. He embraced yo, y'all love to root against me? Bet I'm gonna go out and rip your heart out every time I'm in your stadium. And I think him and Chris Paul, they're both just diabolically wired and psychotic on the court. They would have been perfect together. It was hurtful, and it did hurt to see because I remember we played the Lakers in the playoffs that year in the first round. That was when Kobe had that dunk on Emeka Okafor. That dunk was nasty. That was filthy. And I remember Chris Paul did an interview. It was one game where him and Jarrett Jack were going crazy, and they asked Chris Paul, they was like, what's your mentality out there? And he was like, look, my mama could be out there and I'd run her over. I remember my mom watching that. She was like, don't get any ideas. But she was like, but she still turned to me and said, that's exactly how you need to be on the basketball court. So, Chris Paul was such an amazing and talented player. And, he had some great years with the Clippers too. I got to go to some Clippers games because they were cheaper than the Lakers games. And it was fun watching Lob City, man. Him and Blake, DeAndre. I mean, if they had JJ Redick, Jamal Crawford, if they had a small forward at that time, I don't care what no one says, they would have at least made it past the second round. They would have at least made it to a Western Conference Finals. But if they had a small forward worth a damn, because no disrespect to Matt Barnes, but when Caron Butler got hurt, when Caron Butler got hurt and Chauncey got hurt, that to me was a big shift because the Clippers, low-key, were building a really nice team in a short span of time. And, a lot of people on the West Coast were like, wait a minute, is this about to become Clippers country? There was legitimate talk of that. Granted, Lakers have the cachet of 50, 60, 70 plus years. But the Clippers were really bubbling and they were hot. They were red hot. So it hurt from afar of that was our guy. And now he's shining. It's like you watching your ex go and shine. You like, I'm happy for you, but damn. You know, and now this Clippers team is still nice. I've talked about them before. Of like they're to me one of the most underrated teams. A healthy Kawhi can compete with anybody. I don't care what anybody says. A healthy Kawhi can compete with anybody. They took the Nuggets to 7 this past playoffs. You know what I'm saying? They still got Harden. They still got Zubac. Now they've got Brook Lopez, who I've talked about. They've got John Collins, who I've talked about. And they got Bradley Beal. And now Chris Paul. I mean, that team is ridiculous. That team might go on and do something. Stay tuned. I mean, Chris Paul still is playing at a high level. It would have been so nice. And, you know, they went 2-1 versus us last year. Woo! We're going to have to be on point. If that team is fully healthy, that's a dangerous team. I don't want to rush and be like, oh, that's a title team, whatever. But they're building a contender. Needless to say, they're building a team that is going to do and accomplish a lot if all things go together well. But you know what? So are we. Okay? I'm not coming at this from no self-loathing, no pity party, no, it's tough for us. Nah, man. Look, we're gonna have to go through our lumps and bruises. We're gonna figure things out. But at the end of the day, that mentality that Chris Paul had of I will run through my mom if it means we get a W. I'm not advocating for that. Love and respect your mothers, please. If you don't, then hey, you got some work to do. But that mentality of winning at any cost, if we can have that with this current roster and iteration, we're going to be good. We're going to be golden. And it all starts with leadership. And I humbly believe, again, as I've been saying since the jump, President Dumars is bringing that type of culture, bringing that type of winning mindset of like, yo, by any means, go out there and do all you can to get a W. So it's unfortunate. I would have loved for Chris Paul to have had his swan song with us. It would have been perfect. He would have, he deserved something like that. But needless to say, got nothing but love for CP3. That 2008 season was special. That's my favorite year of basketball. You know what I'm saying? You had so much great NBA lore and history with the Celtics and Lakers going to the finals. Kobe getting his first and we all know Kobe should have had at least 3. I could shoot 2002. I'm gonna say at least 06 and pushing 07, but for sure 2009 I'll give MVPs to Kobe. And I damn near might throw 2003 up there. Shout out to Tim Duncan, my favorite power forward of all time, one of my favorite players. But Kobe that year was on another level. That was when he really was like, I'm him. Stop playing me. But that was just such a great year. LeBron won the scoring title. That was the year when to be in the playoffs as a Western Conference seed, you had to have at least 50 wins, which is insane to this day, which is why, again, to go back to Kobe, I don't know how people can downplay and minimize his impact of the fact that he faced the hardest competition to get to the finals. You know how hard it is when all of your matchups have 50-plus wins, multiple All-Stars, all defensive first teams, and y'all gonna try to Bleacher Report, all love to you. I know people who work there, but 11th, get out of here with that, please. Get out of here with that. Like, where was y'all talking ball growing up? Because it could not have been at the park, no barbershop, no court, no nothing. Ain't no way you grew up talking ball, especially in the 2000s, and you had Kobe ranked that low. That's just pure blasphemy. But Chris Paul was a part of that same era, right? We were the number 2 seed in the West that year. And we lost. People forget that. We lost against the Lakers, which is how they got the first seed. People forget that. That was when Kobe had that dunk, and then the picture of him with the sleeve. That's what ended up being on the cover of 2K10. Like, I know my stuff, okay? I was there. A lot of y'all was there too. So don't be over here trying to rewrite history. Don't. If you was there, speak the truth. Always use your platform to speak the truth. But anyway, hey, shout out to Chris Paul. Wishing the best of luck for him. Nothing but love. But hey, it is what it is. Business is booming. Needless to say, we got ourselves a squad, and once they figure everything out and put all the pieces together, we gonna be all right. Word to Kendrick, we gonna be all right. I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all. You know, I shout out a New Orleans legend. Baby, you gotta know I'm just out here doing what I gotta do for me and you, cause we eat. So while is you tripping, I'm taking these chances. My head to my feet on the ground, my head to the sky. The money don't move it, the money don't budge, and I won't run, no run. Shout out to that's the greatest Wayne song of all time. We can y'all can debate in the comments on that one. But Hustler's Music, I'm putting that over every Wayne song of all time. Anyway, all right. I'm just reminiscing, you know what I'm saying? But let's go to my favorite portion of the video. Responding to y'all. Cause it was some great comments. I'm like, the views don't align, but the comments do. So, off top, my guy, all-time great. Summer League is done. A bit disappointed, but not discouraged. That's exactly how I feel. Putting Summer League aside, how do you think we measure up in the Southwest Division if our main core are all healthy? That's a great question. All-time great. First off, thank you for always showing love and support. You've been a day one. You've been rocking with me day one. And, got to appreciate that wholeheartedly because, hey, the support is for free and it goes a long way. As it pertains to us, right? Looking at the standing, I'm pulling it up. So we're in the same conference, the Southwest, which I was talking with my friends at the Summer League. I said there's no better division of basketball than the Southwest because you got Houston, you got San Antonio, you got Dallas, you got Memphis. I've been mistakenly saying OKC is part of our division. It's not. They're part of the Northwest, which is weird because Oklahoma is like the Midwest / the South. I don't know why they wouldn't be, but teachers on. I think maybe they just were like, hey, we don't have it. I think, you know what it is? I honestly feel like whenever Seattle gets their team, there might be like a little bit of a conference realignment, because like geographically, Oklahoma is not on the Northwest of the United States. It's just not. Like, I don't know why even that's a thing. But needless to say, though, right? Every team in our division is either a playoff contender or a potential final contender. So it's not something that we can take on lightly, right? Dallas has a team that if they stay healthy, that's a very talented team. Very talented team. I was impressed with what I saw. Game 2 out of Cooper Flag, and they pulled the Wemby of they're like, all right, you did your thing. Sit down. We got to keep you as healthy as possible. And if they're healthy, that's a talented team. Obviously, they got AD, Kyrie, Clay. I mean, Clay having a little bit of different type of fun, if you know what I mean. He's been hanging out with the Houston Hotties. Because speaking of those Rockets, right, the Rockets got all of the spotlight on them this offseason in making a move for KD. But they were the second seed in the West. They were a team that, they already were on the up and up. And now you add a closer like KD, a veteran scorer that can get buckets at any given time, place, situation. It adds a lot. Then a team like San Antonio, they're on the rise. To me, I think they're the team that's going to likely break out the most likely. You know what I'm saying? With Wemby back. I mean, my brother over here in the Tibetan mountains with the monks, finding himself. He's on his Kareem Abdul-Jabbar journey right now. And they still kept Stephon Castle, the rookie of the year. They still got Swiper, De'Aaron Fox from that trade last season. He looked great in his time in San Antonio so far. And he's a Texas guy. So, it means a lot. They still kept Keldon Johnson. They still kept Devin Vassell, still kept Jeremy Sohan, and they got Dylan Harper. And he looked good in the Summer League too. I didn't get to see him up close, but he played well of the stuff I saw, of the game I saw. So they're a team that has a lot of talent, and they're going to likely do something special. And then Memphis is kind of a wild card because, they traded Desmond Bane. We don't know what's going to happen with Ja or with Triple J, but they've been in the playoff hunt. If they're healthy, that duo, if they're fully locked in and playing well, that's a dangerous duo. So overall, it's a tough division. Okay, it's basically like the AFC North in football. However, I do think we can come out of this as a playoff team. I really do, especially if we stay healthy and everyone is locked in on all cylinders. We're controlling the glass, we're winning the turnover battle, and we're shooting the ball well. Then we're gonna be all right. I think honestly, again, I think we could easily do what we did in 23-24, winning 49 games. I think we can win 50, 51, 52. I think we're anywhere between a 47 to 52, 53 win team. That sounds crazy, especially coming off of an 0-5 Summer League team. But make no mistake, that's not the roster that we're going to have on the actual court. So I got faith. I got a lot of optimism. Ricky Pronia, 2494. Looking forward to the exhibition game in the start of the season. Hopefully we'll be competitive, praying for the best. Exactly, Ricky. That's all we can do. Be optimistic, stay positive, stay up to date with what's going on. I'm going to be covering it, breaking it down to y'all. And we just got to continue trusting the process. Let the pros do their thing. Shaq 68, let's go Pels. We will have 2 All-Stars this year with Zion and Poole. Just watch. I would love that. I definitely got Zion in the All-Star category. And like I said, dark horse MVP. That's not crazy. 25, 7 and 5, under 30 minutes a game. Does not grow on trees. But Jordan Poole as well. He might. It's not going to be easy. There's a lot of great guards in the Western Conference, but Jordan Poole to me has not even come close to reaching his ceiling. And Jordan Poole is a guy who, when I watch him play, I'm like, that very well would have been me had I, gotten to achieve my basketball dreams and also grew to be 6'5". That would have helped. But I think in a new environment, new system, and with the player personnel that he's going to have now, he's a lot more mature of a player, a lot more plays under control. And in this team, I think he can excel and exceed. You know what I'm saying? Especially given DeJounte is going to be coming back from an injury. Jeremiah Fears is going to have to get himself acclimated to the NBA speed and rigor. Jordan Poole has already been through all that. So I'm with it. And yeah, right. But Jordan Poole's a good comp for Jeremiah Fears. And yeah, that Superman punch look, I'm sorry, Draymond, you don't punch someone like that and expect them to forgive you. There's no way. That's a punch of like, we will never be cool again. In fact, the next time I see you, I want the work. So yeah, I got love and respect for Draymond, but brother, you got to take some accountability. You that was all you. You were the older one, the more mature one. I understand sometimes you do got to check people. But you tried to take the man head off like he was somebody on the street. You can't be doing that with your teammate. You just can't. Christopher Church, 2653. Queen can still work out with that injury. That doesn't get in the way of conditioning. Facts. You know what? I'm glad you said that. That is a good point. You can still run with the wrist injury. You can still do leg exercises. You can still do cardio. So, hey, Derek, don't sit too idle now. Enjoy your time. Get used to being in New Orleans. It's a different than being in the DMV. But don't be idle. Don't be idle. And these next 2 comments I'm gonna respond to, they funny. They're just funny. But I appreciate them nonetheless. Terry Walker, 7144. Stop putting lipstick on a pig, man. I'm a big Pelicans fan, but we suck. That team didn't have any identity. Everyone was just shooting shots like that was a 3-point shooter. Well, Mr. Walker, I'm gonna say this with all due respect to you, my good sir, my good brother. I'm not putting lipstick on a pig. I'm just telling y'all, you got to be optimistic. You have to have a damn near delusional confidence and belief in life. But if you want to build a winning team, go look at all the winning teams. They had to start from something. They had to start from some foundation. If you pour water right into a plant, it's going to grow. If you don't, then you can't expect it to grow. You got to give it water and sunshine. You got to allow it to bloom and blossom. If we don't do that, then we're going to be continuously in this never-ending rat race of mediocrity and losing. I don't want that. You shouldn't either. But think and believe whatever you want. I ain't putting lipstick on nobody. Ain't no lipstick out. Vaughn Too Real 9946. Pelicans gotta be paying this dude. There's nothing positive about this team. Vaughn, I wish I was getting paid by the Pelicans. You know what I'm saying? You call Mrs. Gail Benson and tell her, cut me a check. I'll move to New Orleans right now. Stop playing with me. It ain't the case though. I'm doing this for the love. Shout out to fan arts though. They taking care of me. But I do this for the love. I do this for the love, and I implore you to watch some of my videos, because there's a lot positive about this team. We've got a nice young core, and we've got some good veterans now, and we've got a better front office situation. So Vaughn, I think you need to step into 2025 present day with the rest of us. All love though. And then my guy Christopher Church, 2653, holding it down always. Summer League don't matter. Winning only matters to get more playing time. Exactly. Don't get me wrong. Summer League matters, but it doesn't matter in the large scale. I just talked about with the Hornets, right? We used to be the Hornets. Are the Hornets going to go and be a playoff team or win a championship because they won the Summer League championship? Hell no. That's just lunacy if you think that. But you know what? Believe in whatever. Somebody got to. But to act like it's all doom and gloom and that we have nothing to look forward to, I'm not with that. And that's not true at all. Look at our roster on paper. You're going to tell me that assortment of names can't do something if they're all healthy and playing well? Come on now. Come on now. Come on, man. Come on, bruh. So, yeah. Just got to be, I'm not saying to be green and to be, have your head in the clouds, but, smell the sunshine. The glass is half full, not half empty, but half full. There's a lot to look forward to. But that's why, make sure that you're like, shared, and subscribed. Way more videos to come about. Appreciate y'all for rocking with me as always. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Fan Arch as well for the great support. They're doing their thing. Send this to everybody who's a Pelicans fan, who believes, who sees the vision. That's all it comes down to. Prayers up for Derek Queen that he gets healthy, because we want to see what he can do this year, and I'm very optimistic. So hey, that's all, folks. I appreciate the love and I appreciate the support. We're gonna keep building from here, and like Kenny Burke, keep rising to the top. Give it what you got. So y'all stay blessed. Show some love to your peoples. Spend time with the people that you rock with and love. Time is precious. And this season, it's going to be a special one. Stay tuned. Can't wait to cover more. Ciao.